Good Friday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. Well, you made it to the weekend. It's a big weekend for the Tennessee Volunteers, as I'm sure Josh Heupel has got his team ready for what could be one of the biggest games of the year. No doubt about that. I want to show you what we're dealing with. Some fog this morning. It is going to be a nice day, but some of us have some issues, I'm sure, from Maynardville to New Tazewell. We're talking Union County. That's centered there in the white areas. You could extend that all the way back toward Campbell County as well. Jacksboro has 0 miles of visibility, so we have some patches of dense fog. Not everywhere, but we could probably include Granger County, Union County, Claiborne County, and Campbell County, just to name a few. There could be some patches of fog in your neighborhood, and that's why it's so helpful to have your weather reports. We'd love to see your make note with the comment section at the bottom. We're going to post some of those comments here momentarily. We'd love to know what you have. Now, part of the story clearly is the fog, but the other part is the cold. Some of us are down into the lower 30s, mid 30s. I've got Sevierville now at 34. That would also include the Pigeon Forge area, because that's the airport that's near the LeConte Medical Center there. They have an airport. They call it the Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. I guess it's more removed from Gatlinburg. But 34 is that temperature. 34 in Newport, 34 Crossville, while it's 38 at McGee-Tyson Airport, and 34 in Jacksboro. Curious to know what you have this morning. Is it cold enough for your taste? I got a nice good morning with a sunshiny face for our friend Steve Stone. He's on Facebook. Actually, he's on YouTube, excuse me. He's got the red YouTube icon on the bottom right. I do go back to Facebook here with Fred's comment. He's making note of the bright moon in Maryville. He's in Blount County, 38 degrees. Thank you so much for that update, Fred. And I got a go Vols from Danny. He says he loves the tie. I got to wear the tie on a Friday, man. It's just one of those things you have to say hello. Danny says, good morning. Hope you have a great day and weekend. Go Vols. Good morning, David, and have a nice day to you and your family. Kind of interesting. I want to come back on camera for a second because it's interesting. When I moved here a little more than 14, almost 15 years ago, I was told, now tell me if I'm wrong, but this is what I heard. Okay, this is what I heard. I heard when I was working in local news that who is Tennessee's greatest rival? Who's our biggest foe? And they said, well, if you're over 30, it's Alabama. But if you're under 30, it's probably Florida. Is that true? I mean, let me know. I'd love to know what you think in the comment section. Does that apply? Is it age dependent on whether you think this game is the biggest game or as it was last weekend when we took down Florida in overtime? But I digress. We got cold air, 40 in Oak Ridge, currently 39 in Morristown. It is now 6:42 here on a Friday. The winds are moving, only 5, but it doesn't take much. 5 miles an hour. Factor in the fact that it's, 38, and we've got winds maybe gusting a little higher in the Smokies. It brings the wind chill down to 34. So it actually feels like it's 34. And I got to tell you this, interesting to note, yesterday we hit 62 degrees. I was expecting 61. Started the day off at 35, but look at this. When did the 35-degree temperature, when was it achieved? According to the airport records, it was at 8:04 in the morning. And as the last checked, it's 6:43. That means we could be cooling continuously or gradually between now and, say, 8 o'clock. 8:04 was the low of yesterday morning at 35 degrees. So there's still some cooling that's going to take place, and just a little bit of a wind. A wee little bit of wind can drop your feels like temperature into around 34. Speaking of the cold air, my winter weather outlook will be out in days, not weeks. I am putting together right now, I'm in the process of putting together a very detailed video that I am so eager to share with you. If you want to join us on Premium, that's where I'm going to post it. My winter weather outlook last year scored a big win because I said 8 to 12 inches. And I don't know anybody locally that was going out publicly in October saying we're going to get 8 to 12 inches. But we got 8.5 on the Martin Luther King weekend, as many of you remember. So if it's important to you, you're kind of interested, you're a weather nerd like me, and I say that affectionately, a weather geek. I love weather. And if you want to find out what I expect this winter, you may be surprised, abundantly surprised what's going to happen and how things could throw a little curve or monkey wrench into the whole works. So join us on Captain Accurate Premium. My premium members that are in that particular subscriber group are very eagerly awaiting that posting of that video. And it's coming out in just a few more days. By the way, as you can see, we've got clouds. Well, we don't have clouds. What's the problem here? Well, because of large scale sinking and large areas of high pressure, we're going to see another sunny day today. So expect a high of 68 in Knoxville, 69 in Newport, and if you're in Morristown, Jefferson City, or Dandridge, a high around 67, Our friends in Crossville should be around 67 degrees. I want to check your comments, as this is where I expect to be today. Wanda Poe is noting it's cold. She says she's now ready for some snow. Did you see the snow pictures? I posted one or two of them there, or one of them at least, from Mount LeConte. They had 4 inches of snow, nearly 4 inches of snow at Mount LeConte on Wednesday, and it's slowly melting now under the bright sun. So I posted, the most recent post from earlier this morning. But good morning to you, Wanda. Ed is on here. He says, happy Friday. Let's go Vols. I totally agree. And got another good morning from Mary Morgan with her smiling face. It's nice to have you, and a nice day to you and your family. Thank you so much for thinking of us, and I hope you all have a safe and healthy weekend, as it is now the 3rd weekend in October. Where did the time go? It's amazing. Now, as far as its interesting numbers, we've had 6 days in the 80s, check. We've had 6 days in the 70s, check. We've had 2 days in the 60s, check, and 2 days in the 50s. I'd say it's a pretty good, evenly distributed type of situation. Now we're going to kind of come out of the blue squares, which represent below average. And we're going to start to warm back up into the 70s heading into the weekend. So if you're more of a fan of the average, which again, normal this time is 71, well, you'll be pleased to know that we're not going to get much colder. In fact, I think it's now, from this point forward, we could, I guess, declare a warming trend that's coming our way. Speaking of the big game on Saturday afternoon, it's not an evening game, it's an afternoon game. 3:30, if you've got one of the special tickets, because I know they go fast, I presume it's a sold-out game. Why wouldn't it be? If you're over 30, this is the biggest game, I'm told, Alabama. But it will be a big game. We're both 5-1. And it's a go big orange type of day where a lot of folks will be prideful, very happy to wear their orange and white. Kickoff is 72 is what I expect. Halftime 71, and 4th quarter 66 degrees. So it's an exciting game. No wind really to speak of, so that's not going to affect the kicking game. But having a pair of sunglasses might serve you well, like it has over the last couple of days. That should not change on Saturday. So just wanted to kind of lay that out there if you're headed to the game. Now, what about the frost concerns? I have some of it. I'm sure there's some frost. Well, you've got 34 in Sevierville. You've got some 34s around Campbell County as well. No frost advisories was declared from the Weather Service in Morristown, nor was it declared by the National Weather Service in Nashville. Now, some would say that was a missed opportunity. I am not going to dispute that. I think the fact that the National Weather Service in Jackson has covered eastern Kentucky under a frost advisory, that was probably a smart move, and they've got it in effect for parts of North Carolina, but it's just not here. Now, we will have bright, sunshiny skies today, and I want to encourage you, if you want to make a lunch plan, or maybe ordering in tonight, check out Marco's Pizza. They are a great sponsor for No Kid Hungry, and they also give back to East Tennessee Children's Hospital. Maybe you'd like to have them deliver. They do that. They're located in Hardin Valley and Farragut. They're in Maryville, Fountain City, Halls, Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike, and Ebenezer Road. Check out their pepperoni pizza. It's magnificent for less than $10, but you can put anything on that pizza that you desire. Maybe you like the deluxe. I'm a big fan of their deluxe pizza, which includes mushrooms and green pepper and all the rest. But check them out, marcos.com. They also have a great lunch item they call the Pozzoli for less than $6 at marcos.com. Love Marcos, and a great sponsor for Captain Accurate Weather. Do you see what's interesting here? How is it that Huntsville is under a frost advisory, but we're not? And did you know that Atlanta dropped only to 41 degrees yesterday morning, and they were under a frost advisory? Imagine that, a frost advisory for 41 degrees. And we fell to 35. So again, I just put that out there. It's not consistent, as many, at least the perception isn't. And if they just issued it in what's called a special weather statement, most people don't see that. I think having the advisory in effect does add a little more legitimacy to the fact that it's cold. And it is cold this morning. A couple of showers rolling through the Dakotas at this hour. Some snowflakes falling in the Rockies. I see some winter weather advisories out there. And if you look further to the south, a little bit of rain well south of Florida there, south of Miami. But is it going to be interesting to watch the tropics, which we'll be highlighting here momentarily. Drought monitor came out yesterday. I like to point this out because we did have a lot of rain in September, just haven't had much rain, obviously, in October. But it is A-OK, no report for drought in Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, or Seymour from the view of the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. There's no drought in La Follette or Tazewell because of all the heavy rain we had in September. Sneedville looks fine. Bean Station looks fine. But once you move over to Kingston, once you move over to Harriman and Rockwood, they believe that's a severe drought area. Now, it's not just rainfall. It takes into consideration a whole host of parameters: soil moisture, short-term drought, long-term drought. They look at all types of different situations. They do put Hardin Valley and Farragut abnormally dry, but they have Harriman, Rockwood, and Kingston under severe drought, Fairfield Glade under a moderate drought, and then you can extend this down to Nyota and Athens for a moderate drought, and then there's some dry areas in the middle part of the state as well. But these are the areas of concern for the drought monitor that comes out weekly. It came out yesterday morning. I thought I would share that with you. But if you think we have been dry, you are correct. 2.81 is the average over 30 years, but that doesn't mean that's where we should be. That's like telling the ocean it should be right where I want it to be. Sometimes the ocean is in the low tide, sometimes it's high tide, and sometimes it's somewhere in between. And so at this point, given the fact that we had the 14th, he says, 14th wettest September on record, thanks to Helene. We had 6 1/3 inches of rain. Now, is it unheard of that we go the other direction? We can go from a full moon to a new moon, low tide, high tide. That's how Mother Nature works. But for whatever reason, people flip out. Oh, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Could it be the fact that it's just a way of it's balancing out? Now, when I did the research from the National Weather Service numbers online, I found out that we are probably on track for the second driest October on record. So that's crazy. Yeah, I know, 0.02, that occurred last Sunday. And I don't see any rain this week, y'all. Got news for you. I don't see any rain next week either. Well, that would take us to Halloween. It would. And we have between now and midnight, maybe even 1 o'clock in the morning on Halloween night, because of the daylight saving times. They go midnight to midnight, but during daylight time, it's 1 a.m. to 1 a.m. But it's interesting because look at how 0.50 occurred back in 1938, 1891. If you go back to 2023, last year we had a dry October. It was 0.63. That's the 10th spot that I don't have room here to list. But it's interesting to see how this October has been playing out. And I'm sure because when you see the 7-day and you don't see any rain chances, that will cause some folks to be concerned. One thing you don't have to too worry about is the smoke. It looks like most of this wildfire smoke will stay up toward northern parts of Kentucky, perhaps from Louisville, Lexington, and Elizabethtown. Some of the moderate smoke in yellow is vertically integrated. It's not necessarily at the surface, but there is some smoke in the atmosphere that might actually make the sun look a little hazier. As far as the tropics, things have a switcheroo. What was a 60 and then a 50% is now 10% around Puerto Rico. And they've now increased the chance of something developing tropically named 50%, flip a coin, areas around Belize and maybe southeast of Cancun. So that's where the tropical weather tends to lead us. Tropical season, hurricane season rather, runs till the 30th of November, and it will likely, in my view, be probably shutting down by the 15th. This year, I don't think it'll last much beyond the 15th of November. We'll see. But our next name on the list is Nadine, followed by Oscar, Patty, and Raphael. By the way, the clouds aren't really an issue. We talked about the fog. We talked about the frost. Here's the sunrise time. You got to wait now till 7:46, practically 8 o'clock, before the sun is up, which is why it's not unheard of to still be cooling by 8 o'clock in the morning. Got some other notes. I want to say good morning to our friend Karen Robbins. She says, happy Friday, David. Have a great weekend. She's in Fairfield Glade. I got another note from Believe who I have here. Karen's on there. Dawn Rumsey just popped in here. She says, David, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Glad to have her here on as well. And Fred wanted to wish everybody a safe and blessed weekend. Go Vols and beat Alabama. Absolutely. I think this is the time to really kind of make our mark this season. This is the big game we want to watch with a very close eye on Saturday afternoon. As far as the bus stop, I have a little bit of fog kind of illustrated here. So be extra careful, as you always are, I'm sure, through school zones, but sometimes with fog, especially where it's dense in that Union County, Claiborne County area. But temperature should be warming up to 47 by 10, and by 2 o'clock should be around 64 degrees. By the way, it's 6:54. My goal is to be done by 7 o'clock. I believe I can do that very easily. Ooh, more sunshine today. Warmer sunshine this weekend. I forgot to take off my little emoji, but that does say weekend under there. And I think some of us are still shivering from this past couple of days. Dry days will continue. As I've mentioned, we're in that dry period of the year. And boy, is it exceptionally dry, given the fact that historically, when you look at 153 years of data going back to 1871, that's when Ulysses S. Grant was president, we could be in the top 2. Top two with just a trace falling in 2000 and in 1963. Right now we have 38 degrees, a northeast wind at 5. That brings us to a wind chill of 34. It is actually freezing in Johnson City. No freeze warning for Johnson City, but they're freezing. And it's 40 in Nashville, 39 in Jackson. Temperatures can vary depending on if you're in maybe a sheltered valley. It could be even colder, but temperatures today should climb into the upper 60s. Now, if yesterday was 62, we should be at least 6 degrees warmer this afternoon, so that's why I labeled it as turning milder. You would be hard-pressed to say it's mild now, because it's not. We're still in the 30s, but once we head into midday, lunchtime, about 57, and by the time we hit, say, 3 o'clock, 67, I have a high of 68 degrees. So very thankful for all of you. A couple other notes that might have popped in here. I didn't see Linda's Rice here. She says hello. Good morning, David. Have a great day and a great weekend. She's making note of the weekend is now here, and I'm also very thankful for all those who have been watching us live. Let's get to the nuts and bolts of the precipitation. Clearly, there's zeros here. This is going to be one of those maps we'll be hoping for some chance of rain, but right now I don't even see drizzle as an option or even on the table. But there will be some severe weather in other parts of the country. It's not like it's gone away everywhere. It's just on a Tennessee vacation. Isolated severe storms will be possible in New Mexico and North Texas, mainly west of Amarillo, east of Santa Fe, and east of Albuquerque. That's our forecast, or their forecast expectation for today. Nothing going on in Tennessee or anything east of the Mississippi. Once we move into Saturday, that same area may be receiving a couple more isolated severe storms west of Lubbock, east of Albuquerque, but nothing going on in the Volunteer State except hopefully a victory by the evening time. Sunday, it looks like we got more general thunderstorms in Denver to Omaha, but clearly no severe weather expected Sunday. It looks quiet all in all there as well. So let's kind of break down the forecast as the Futurecast shows this big area of high pressure, which typically has a signature of coming into play in October, parks itself over the Ohio Valley, over Pennsylvania, over New York State. So we're going to keep skies virtually clear. I have it mostly sunny tomorrow, mostly sunny, but then it's sunny filled or sunshiny skies on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even Thursday. So you might think it's like a broken record. It's like something's wrong. Somebody has to change the weather pattern. I wish I could get a few clouds. That's why I said if you bought sunglasses this week, you're going to get full mileage. You're going to get a lot of mileage out of those sunglasses in the days to come as well. And a couple of showers Monday, maybe west of St. Louis. Yeah, central Missouri has some hope for maybe a passing shower. For today, 68 the high is my expectation. It is now 6:58. Sunny skies turning milder with light and variable winds, and we could very well see temperatures around 70 from Tellico Plains, Madisonville, Monroe County, 69 Athens. I suspect we'll be around 67 in Crossville, in Wartburg, in Morgan County, and in Fentress County in Jamestown. But as far as the temperatures on the travel forecast, if you're going to Atlanta, they'll be in the upper 60s. Lots of sunshine, a little morning fog for Nashville, 71 and 72 for Jackson, Tennessee. So for tonight, down to 39. It's not as cold. I'll call it chilly. And I wouldn't even say frost is that much of a concern unless you're in some of the colder areas of East Tennessee. Patches of fog, I think, will reappear, much like they are in effect right now. So if you have fog this morning, there's a good chance you'll have fog in some of the same spots on Saturday morning. Just a heads up so you know that's there. 38 for a low tonight is my expectation for Wartburg, Morristown, Talbot, Jefferson City. 39 for Dandridge, 39 for Newport, Del Rio, Cosby, and lows around 40 for Maryville, Alcoa. By tomorrow morning, that's where I think we'll start the day. And for tailgaters, that's important, especially since it's a 3:30 game. I know tailgating will start bright and early. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville and East Tennessee. It's 6:59, finishing just on time. Love it. 74 on Sunday, 77 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We've got a pair of sevens. And then pleasant weather continuing on Thursday. But I guess when you get too much of a good thing, some are going to say, hey, I learned my lesson before. I learned my lesson the last time. Remember, we didn't have any rain, then we asked for it, and then we got Helene. So you always have to be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you pray for, because your cup could overflow it. You have all this dry weather now. Does that mean it gets rainy in November, or does it get snowy? Does it get snowy in November? Ooh, would you like? That's a great transition, because I'm going to be talking about all the opportunities ahead in my winter weather outlook. If you want to join us on YouTube, that's a free opportunity. Just go to youtube.com/@CaptainAccurate. We also have a free Captain Accurate weather app with Pete Michaels Traffic. It's the best weather app in my view in East Tennessee because you get the local traffic and you get the weather and all the National Weather Service alerts. Twisting, storm approaching, dangerous storm approaching, and storms in your area are exclusive to Barron. So you're not only getting you're getting multiple sources, right? You're getting the Weather Service, which is the public sector, and Barron, which is a private company, giving you some of their intel from radar as well. And you get lightning alerts, so there's so many reasons to download the free Captain Accurate weather app. And a new app update is coming very soon. By the way, the winter weather outlook I mentioned, it's just $4.99 to join us. Just hit the subscribe button at the top of my Facebook post. Would love to have you sample us. It's like 16 cents a day. Not a big deal. And winter will not be over in one day or 1 week. It lasts all season long. You may find, as many have found, this service to be very, very helpful and useful. You're the first to get my snow forecast. That has got to have some value to some school teachers out there. And I have some school teachers in the group. So you might want to join us for that reason alone. First to see every forecast. I posted about 30 minutes to an hour or more before I post it online. So you have benefit there and you get weather that goes beyond the next 7 days, which is why my premium members, they know it's going to be dry. They've known this for a while because I like to tell them what I'm thinking. So you have great reason if you're a weather aficionado to join us and check us out. Plus you get Facebook Lives on Sundays typically to help you plan for the week ahead, and you get fewer ads. So there's a lot of great benefit to joining us on Premium, and we would love to have you. Well, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. Have a great weekend, and go Vols. We'll see you here soon. Take care.